Yeah.
Right. Oh, quickly. All right.
Yes.
So let's chat about that just quickly.
All right.
Not that there's many people watching left, but maybe they'll catch this
Yeah.
at the end.
Catch a rerun.
Catch a rerun. There you go. Peg Center is at this point on hold because I don't know. That's why. That's the problem.
Yeah.
No real good. No reasons have been presented to me outside of what was said in the meeting, the last selectmen's meeting. So I've been inquiring, trying to get a meeting with the selectmen and with the town administration, and I've got nothing so far. So I have nothing, unfortunately.
TBD.
It's TBD at this
Yeah.
point. I don't have any real good information as to what is going on, why, and what is going to happen next, unfortunately. But that said, as I learn things, I will definitely be mentioning or bringing this stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that this happens. Part of my job in coming here was to get this thing done. We had meetings with a number of people in the PEG field to look at all the options that were presented to me as far as town buildings that we could potentially go to. We went through all of those buildings, including the middle school, and analyzed them in pretty good detail. And then came out with a determination, which the determination was to go to the best place was to go to the Westford Road property, 120 Westford Road, which was being vacated by the Recreation Department. So that was what was presented. That was what was voted on at town meeting and approved. That was what was supported by the selectmen at the time. Now, unfortunately, that has appeared to have changed. The winds have changed for some reason, unbeknownst to me. This all came so far to left field. It wasn't even in the same ballpark, to be honest with you. No idea this was coming. So, yeah, I have about as many questions as I think anybody else in town would. I do appreciate the folks who have who do know about this, who saw the meeting or have chatted with various people. I appreciate the support from all those folks as far as, wanting this to go forward, wanting this to continue, and the PEG Center to happen. The question now is just what do we do now? Where do we stand, and where are we going to go next? Because, as I said, the selectmen made a decision on Monday to put it on hold and to investigate potentially selling the property. I don't know. I have less answers than I should have, unfortunately, being the person who's in charge of this part of the project.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to go out to bid on Wednesday. That was obviously not done because because they canceled the project or they shut it down, at least temporarily. So, yeah, I have as many answers or as many questions as I do answers. Actually, I have less answers than I do questions.
The ratio,
a lot, the ratio is definitely off. I have a lot
Mhm.
more questions than I do answers. Rather, is what I meant.
In the meanwhile, though, we're still going to be working. We're still going to be doing open mics.
Right. So in the meanwhile,
yeah.
we still have the open mics. We still have, we're still going to do the shows on Monday and Fridays. And I'll still be doing my normal stuff, the stuff that you've seen me do, all the Facebook posts and the, all those different things like that. That'll all continue. I'm just going to be in town hall for a bit longer, sitting at a desk. That's a studio. With a studio, that's a desk. So yeah. My desk space generally consists of about 2 square feet of actual usable area to do stuff because of the stuff that I have there and because of the crampedness that I am currently sitting in that corner of the room. If you ever get a chance, if you go to a selectman meeting or any other meeting, poke your head around the corner, you'll see where I sit. That's big. Poke your head around the movable wall there, rather. Is what I meant. Yeah, and you'll see where we do our stuff. So yeah, I don't have unfortunately, any other answers. I'm waiting to get a meeting with the selectmen and administration to figure out what's going on. Because as of this point, I have no answers, and I have received no communications, unfortunately. So that's where we sit right now. I want to, obviously, being diplomatic about this. I'm not going to rip anybody or anything. I don't know what the thought process was. I wasn't brought in on it, so it's not my place to rip anybody on that. So, and I just want the project to happen. You guys paid for it. You've been paying franchise fees for decades. You deserve a PEG Center. You deserve something. You deserve a building for it, a place to house all this media stuff and to take part in, because that's the whole point of PEG Access, is that the community produces this stuff. Me and Ray Sam and other folks that work in my department, we do this stuff. We do these content, these programs, but we do them because we want to show to you how easy it is, how you can do it, and the fact that anybody can do it. I mean, I'm just a goofball. I'm not a VJ or a whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not a radio DJ or anything like that. I've done some of that stuff, but that's not my, it's not my day job. My day job is sort of a lot of the technical stuff and doing a lot of the behind the scenes things. I just happen to enjoy doing some of this stuff as well, the on camera stuff, and I feel like I can do a halfway decent job at it anyways, as disjointed as some of these broadcasts could be, but anyway, you know what I mean. We have fun with it.
They come for the riffs.
Right, yeah, they come for the riffs, exactly. But the point is that the community does this stuff. So I try to always mention, too, in all these broadcasts, like this is your opportunity. If you want to do something, if you have a message you want to get out there, if you have something you want to talk about, topical to the town, topical to whatever, honestly, you can talk about whatever you want to, obviously within reason of just a couple of parameters for, things that aren't allowed on TV. You know what those things are. I don't have to go through that. But this is your opportunity to do this kind of stuff, or to get a message out, or to talk to people. And that's what PEG Access is. That's the essence of what PEG Access was created for, was so that all of the big cable companies, Comcast, Verizon, whoever, and the content producers, Fox and NBC and ABC and all these different producers, they don't own a monopoly, or so that they don't own a monopoly on the airwaves. They created public access through the Cable Act. I think it was 1984 was the Cable Act. And they created that so that the residents could then still be able to have access to public access to those airwaves, so that you could also get a message out. Because your message is just as important as what's on TV, whether it's something interesting or it's dribble, reality TV shows or whatever. They want you to be able to have that opportunity as well. And it's still there. It's still here, and you still pay for it. It's just a matter of having a spot to do it in Tyngsboro anyways. Every community around us, short of Pepperell, I believe, every community around us has a PEG Access Center. Actually, Dunstable and Pepperell, I think, share one, or share some space. But all the other ones all have a PEG Access Center. Most of them are standalone facilities. There's a couple that are in schools. The only two that come to mind are Chelmsford and North Andover, and those are kind of special circumstances why they're still there. I have some info as to why they're there, but the rest of them generally end up in a separate location, which gives the residents easy access, more or less no restrictions. If you're on a school property, there's a lot of restrictions on things, certain hours of the day. Anybody who might have any issues with, legal issues from the past, might have problems, certain topics of shows, types of programs. If you want to, marijuana is legal now. If somebody wants to do a show talking about their favorite strand of marijuana, that's, you can do that on PEG Access. You can talk about these things. It's not illegal to talk about that stuff. But you might have a problem if we did it in a school property. So there's reasons for why it should be separated. Just for those, that's the stuff I just stated basically. But again, I don't know what the plan was. I have no idea what was in folks' heads in terms of when they made these decisions. So I wasn't brought in on the process. But as soon as I find out something, I will definitely let you know. I'll keep you abreast of that. And as I said, everybody who's come up to me, talk to me about it, because a lot of people know about this thing. We've talked about this a ton in the past. So the majority of the people that watch this program know what I'm talking about when I talk about the PEG Center. I appreciate all the support. If and when something happens, I'll definitely let you know. As far as if we need some additional support, phone calls or whatever the case may be. But I do appreciate that. There's been a lot of you who have come up and said very nice things. There's been some nice posts and things like that on Facebook recently from a couple people in the community. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the kind words and the support that we've gotten from the community. It's funny because I only just did this honestly as a way, one, to show you folks what can be done, and also to get some of the news and information out, because there's a lot of stuff that happened in town. I have 2 pages of, almost 3 pages of stuff that I went through just in news that's coming up this weekend, next weekend, and in the following couple of weekends. So, through halfway through November. So there's a ton of things happening. So that's the other reason why I did this program. But yeah, as far as PEG Center goes, it's on hold. We'll see what happens, and we'll get to it hopefully soon. Hopefully we can get it back on schedule and get back out to bid. But we'll see. I don't know. It's up to the selectmen at this point, and maybe the will of the people. See if the people have a voice and speak that voice, and maybe we can change some minds. Who knows? But in the meantime, I'm going to try to get a meeting with them hopefully soon, and go forward. Before I wrap up, so on a lighter note, before I wrap up, I wanted to come back to the homecoming game. We talked about Tyngsboro High School football, and they had a pretty awesome game against it was Nabnasset Regional. They're the